Fred. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Sarah, and we are City Roots. We aim
to give people what they've always wanted but never been able to get.
And bringing a creative approach to Bangladeshi education.
We realized the school through the creation of a non-profit organization
ignites creativity in underprivileged South American youth.
We're the founders of Peace 5 Applications.
And we are here to change the face of education.
Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? All right. What did you think of the video? Well, the second one. We'll send you a link for the first one. Obviously, we had some technical issues with that, but that's a neat video that was compiled, and it's definitely worth watching, especially if you can read all the words. Anyway, so welcome to the first big idea. I am very, very excited to be here. We've been planning this for almost 6 months. We started in late October, and it sort of has evolved. We didn't have a vision, but this is the vision that somehow mutated into what I am going to call an amazing success. We had our initial expectations of, well, quite honestly, my expectation was to have at least 6 teams sign up so that we could cut 1. That was really my goal. But at the last hour, in true CC form, we had, I think it was 14 teams sign up within the last 30 minutes before the cutoff happened. So all of you, congratulations for keeping CC time alive and well. All right, so tonight what we're going to do, actually it was supposed to be tonight, we got shifted to the afternoon. What we're going to do is we are going to go through a process of calling up 5 teams. Now, many of you know that many, many more than 5 teams are expecting to be called up. So we're going to call you up one at a time. I'm not going to announce the 5 right now. And they'll have the opportunity to present their idea for 5 minutes, their prepared presentation. And then they are going to be subjected to our wonderful judging panel, who I'm going to introduce right now. In no specific order, I'm going to start with Van Skilling. And they have so much... They all have done so much with their lives that I need notes, so excuse me for reading, but he has a BA in zoology from CC, an MBA from Pepperdine. He's the past chairman and CEO of Experian. He is on the Colorado College Board of Trustees. He's a director of the American Business Bank and chairman of both CoreLogic Corp and Onvia Corp. And I think very importantly, he has 2 CC, actually, I don't know if they're sons or daughters. They graduated from CC, so that's Van Skilling. The next judge we have is Eric Murdoch. He is, I believe, our only Canadian on the board, originally from Montreal. After completing his MFA at Brown, his first major role was George in our town. He has performed in the Autumn Garden, Mother Courage, and been with Meryl Streep, Bill Paxton, and performed in Rookie Blue and Warehouse 13. He is also an alum of Colorado College. Hopefully I got all that right. Next judge is Hattie Hill. Has over 30 years experience as a businesswoman, author, professional speaker, international management consultant. Her expertise is in global leadership. She apparently is constantly quoted in the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, specific to human relations and in corporate America. She was, in 2011, named as one of Forbes' top Texas women in business. And then she is also on many boards, Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas and the Goizueta Business School in Atlanta. Matthew Berkley, also a CC grad, went on to get a degree from Harvard, an MBA. He is the CEO of Genscape. He, prior to that, he was Chief Financial Officer and later President of the Sales and Trading Division of Thomson Reuters. He went on to co-found Zephyr, consulting firm focused on e-commerce and social media. Matthew Berkley. And Melanie August will graduate in 2013 with an MBA from UCLA. She graduated cum laude with a BA in Economics and Business from Colorado College. She played point guard for the basketball team. She is currently leading a large-scale consulting project with a professional sports team and specific to refining best practices and developing and monetizing social media strategy. She was a Rhodes Scholar nominee, top student in business and economics, National Player of the Year, SCAC Women of the Year, and Consensus All-American. It goes on and on. I'm going to stop there. So I have to immediately go to the people who made this all possible. I actually was just the lucky recipient of being charged with this task, and 6 months ago I was smiling ear to ear thinking this is going to be the coolest thing. And 6 months later, it's not the coolest thing, it's the most amazing thing in my life, right behind I think the birth of my 2 children and my wife, of course, but it really, really is amazing where I get to meet the students every single day. They have questions, they are wide-eyed, they are smiles ear to ear, and they think that their idea is just the coolest thing ever. And I get to see that and hear that every single day. So thank you to the students who made my life over the last 6 months truly, truly wonderful. Again, this couldn't have all started without the vision of our illustrious President Jill and her, can I call him the sidekick, Mike. So without further ado, Jill.
Thanks, everybody. It's wonderful to be here this afternoon, and I'm so excited that the big idea has become more than just an idea. And there are many people to thank for that, and I want to specifically mention just a few. I want to thank Steve for his work in not only organizing today's events, but for guiding this entire process over the last 6 months. Colorado College is so fortunate to have alumni like Steve who are mentors with amazing experience and connections who are willing to share both with our students. Thank you, Steve. I also want to thank Dean of Students and Vice President of Student Life Mike Edmonds for his work in making a vision that a small group of us shared last fall a reality. Professor Jim Parko, who taught our CC Entrepreneurship course last fall, was also one of those visionaries, as were faculty members Tom Cronin, Larry Stimpert, Dan Johnson, Heidi Lewis, and Shane Burns, and I want to thank all of them. I also want to thank, yay, they're great. Melanie, Matthew, Hattie, Van, and Eric, I sincerely appreciate that all of you are willing to take time out of those very busy schedules to be with us today. Your knowledge and critical feedback is so valuable to our students. Thank you all for being here. I'm such a firm believer that the liberal arts is the very best way to prepare today's students for tomorrow's problems. In a rapidly changing world, that means that all of you will need to know the value of seeing things from different perspectives and be experts in collaboration and community. The only way that you can prepare for the future, for jobs that don't yet exist and problems that don't yet have solutions, is to develop a nimble mind, critical thinking, skill at writing and speaking, and comfort with ambiguity. All qualities that are developed by the liberal arts, all qualities that are developed at Colorado College. However, it's also important that we give our students some co-curricular opportunities to actually put those skills into practice. We're doing that with our internship campaign, a goal to identify 250 internships for CC students, which I heard from Jason Owens in the Career Center that we actually exceeded yesterday. So thank you to Jason and all the team in the Career Center for hitting that goal. And we're also doing that today with the big idea. if you take some really great students like we have at Colorado College, provide them with the highest quality liberal arts education, add some strong alumni mentoring, and then get their competitive juices flowing with a public event and a cash prize, I think you have a recipe for creativity. And the big idea is just that. So thank you all for your hard work and participation. I look forward to today and hearing all of your big ideas. Thanks.
All right, isn't she wonderful? I wish I had a president like that when I was here. All right. So, okay, so this is how it's going to work. Again, in no order, what we did is we eliminated all the teams down to 5, and we had a wonderful, what I would call the elimination judge panel. And they put all the teams up. They did a low point scoring, and they basically ranked them one through the total number of teams. And then we just counted, and it was relatively easy until there were 2 or 3 teams that had all the same points. And then the real discussion started, which was fun. So the very, very first team up, it's like the envelope, please. Mobile Munchie Machine, come on down.
So we are the Mobile Munchie Machine. We are high quality and fast service food truck. We serve hot sandwiches and melts, and we are the first mobile dining option in the Colorado College area. And we serve breakfast and specialize in late night dining. So how many of you, by show of hands, have ever had a taquito from 7-Eleven? Cool. So I always ask that mostly CC students. Taquitos are the #1 late night dining option for CC students. This is a list of ingredients. In short, total junk food, and it's part of a larger problem which we have identified. There are no late night dining options on the CC campus or close by. This causes students to drive often late at night to go get fast food, or also to walk to 7-Eleven, oftentimes alone, which is not safe. And lastly, we have identified that there's no quick and easy breakfast option on campus. Specifically, there's Colorado Coffee, which gets a large line in the morning, and there's no option for seniors and students who live off campus who commute and who are not on the meal plan. So this shows our positioning in the market for the Mobile Munchie Machine. As I said, this is a lot of our competition, specifically in late night, and that's where our idea stems from, basically late night dining to satisfy the need there. And not only are we more convenient than a lot of these options, but we have added social values. Our food, we have healthy options, and we are also a hub for students to come and socialize. So why are we more competitive than some of these other fast food late night options? One, we're familiar with our customer base. I'm a senior here, and so is Hannah, and Leslie's a junior. We've been here for almost 4 years now, and we know the students well, and they've started to know us since we've started our business, which I'll talk about shortly. We have around-the-clock service, so we serve food basically when there's no other option. So late night, anything after midnight is not open. We cover, we bridge that barrier there. And we have a unique experience. We serve sandwiches and hot melts that can't be found anywhere else on campus, and for that matter, sort of anywhere else in the area. And lastly, we currently take cash and credit card, and we will soon take Gold Card. So it'll be easy for students to get a bite to eat late at night, regardless of what they have in their wallet. So we have a large community focus. Once we get the business started, we plan to donate 25% of our profits to local food banks. That will include places like the Soup Kitchen, which serve this Colorado Springs community on Sunday here. We will also create student jobs. We'll hire a lot of students to work in the food truck. Not only will that allow students to make some money, it'll give them experience working for a startup. And lastly, as I said, it'll be a place where students can gather outside events and during the day, and will be a place to socialize. So some of the marketing that we've already done, we have a Facebook page, and whenever we're out, we post our location, and we'll also post any special deals we have. So if you go on that, that'll tell you where we are. We have a Twitter account, which will act sort of as similar fashions as the Facebook page to let students know where we are. We have had one article in the Catalyst already, which has outlined what we've already done and what our future looks like. And lastly, we're in the midst of making t-shirts, and we will have flyers up to advertise our truck. So this is our team. As I said, myself, Leslie, and Hannah were all part of the entrepreneurship class, and as was Zach and Alex, who cannot be here today. We do have a rather large team. I'm assuming larger than most other teams up here. And we've been asked a lot about that, and that specifically for us has worked well to handle different aspects of the business. It's been efficient for us to handle the finances and different parts of getting the food truck started, which has been a pretty large process. So just a little bit on what we've done so far before I get into where we want the food truck to be in the next year. We have sold food at 6 on-campus events. Those include 2 nights at the Battle of the Bands, the Red Dance, which is a fundraiser for an AIDS nonprofit, Ice Age, and then some other off-campus events, so off-campus parties. And we have had great success so far. We've basically been using a table and a panini machine and buying as much food as we could and basically cooking it all, selling it all, and that's where we are right now. So we really do need to expand into a food truck or a food cart where we have food storage options and options to really get the business off the ground. So looking forward, we hope to get either a cart or a truck, and I can go through some of those different options. They're similar cost, and we hope to expand our customer base. So that goes for here on campus to start, and then we hope to expand into Colorado Springs and ultimately on other college campuses. So what we need financing for the truck and the cart, and we also need financing for a gold card reader, and we are looking for mentors and advisors who can give us help with the food service industry. Any questions?
How much do you expect those assets that you require to cost?
We have a slide. Can we have our presentation back, please? Okay, so we actually have an extra slide if you could give our presentation another go. But we're anticipating either a combination of a trailer and a truck to be around $20,000, looking at used trucks or and used trailers as well.
So right now you have first mover advantage in this marketplace, but if this is successful, you're going to end up with competitors coming into the market. How will you sustain your differentiation in that situation?
Well, we differentiate ourselves based on what we're serving. So we're looking at melts and breakfast foods that are mostly organic. They are fresh ingredients that provide students with a unique eating experience compared to, I mean, there's hot dog trucks downtown, there's other food trucks downtown, yes, but they don't serve these fresh ingredients and these fresh meals.
Right, the clicker's not working, so we can't pull up our financial slide. Okay. Okay. So this is what we project for our first month net income. We factor that in. We've done an analysis based on how many sandwiches we've sold. On average, the sandwiches we've sold so far have been upwards of 20 to 30 sandwiches per night. So we expect to sell around 90 sandwiches a day, average 5 sandwiches a day. So our first month net income you're looking at here, and that's minus the cost of the truck. So we have a few different options, which I'd love to pull up and show you. There's one. This is in Boulder, and they're all around similar price options, and the 2 different options we have is either getting a truck like this. This includes a stove. Well, it's doing its own here. It includes a stove, running water storage tank, grill top, basically all the basic things you need in a food truck and that satisfy health inspection. So yeah, that's generally what we're looking at in terms of pricing. These are some of the different options. If we were to go with a cart, it would include a truck that can tow it, which we've considered as well. So we're very open to sort of this general, this first process of buying a truck. We haven't set our eyes on specific trucks yet, so we're open to that. But that answers your question.
Kind of going off of Matthew's point, I mean, in LA, it's the land of the food truck, and there's a lot of high-level chefs. Do any of you guys on your team or anybody on your team have culinary experience?
Not personally, not working in a restaurant. That's one thing that we've sort of done on our own, and we went through a rather large process deciding what food we were gonna sell, and that actually involved a night where we did a survey. We asked students whether they want heroes, tacos, breakfast sandwiches, and whatnot. And that's where we settled on melts, and this is our menu you can see here, which converts easily to breakfast. But to your question, none of us have worked specifically in the food service industry.
What is your labor costs?
Our labor cost.
So, can you find our way back to? For the first, for getting the company set up and running, that's why we have such a large team. So there's 5 of us working, and we anticipate putting our wages back into the food truck to try and get a more sustainable business plan going. And from there on, we would be hiring students at around the working minimum wage, which we've discussed with campus officials as how we would structure that. And our wages would be based on hiring 2 people having 2 people on staff per night that the truck is running. And if we can go back, we have can we go back to the financial slide, please? Yeah. So incorporated in our burn rate, and our yearly burn rate would be approximately, what was it, 18 hours a week or something. But basically, we have it worked into the structure that we'd be paying around minimum wage to maintain keep it more of like a student experience rather than like full help.
Yeah, so our wage will be around $10 an hour. We have 2 employees. We'll be open for breakfast, so that'll be basically 7 to about 10 o'clock, and then we'll be open basically 9 o'clock on, so 9 o'clock late to 2 in the morning, depends on the night. So, yeah, I mean, you can calculate our labor wages there based on 2 employees, $10 an hour, and depending on how many hours we open in a day, that's what we're looking at.
Are you only employing CC students?
Yes, that's our plan. Similar to something like reffing sports, reffing intramurals and things like that. Yeah, we do hope to hire CC students, for sure. Because we're going to be on campus and we want to give students a job opportunity because there's not that many that work, and it also keeps it a fairly tight-knit community in terms of having the food truck service the school, which is our goal basically to start the business. And then from there we'll expand. Once we expand out of CC, that'll change. But yeah.
So my question is, after you guys graduate from CC, are you planning on sticking around the Springs to run the company?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay. I can talk to that because I am the only junior on the team. And we are hoping we are in the process of talking to people about next year to create a management team. We've already had about 5 people interested, and so we will talk to about that with them. And then as well as once people graduate, we will sell our equity in the company.
Okay. And that, I guess the plan would be to do that as each management team graduates.
Yes, and then hopefully to start with sophomores so that people will have a couple years to be in the business.
So once you're out of the Springs, you're out of the company?
If you decide to be out of the Springs, yes. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
To also answer that, once we get the food truck, we will be on campus getting that started. So if that is something we do over the summer, it'll be a good chunk of our time, and at least my time. So I don't plan to drop out of the company per se. Okay. But yes, I may not be.
I understand. Thanks.
Can I ask one more financial question? Given that it sounds like you have a pretty high upfront fixed cost with the food truck, are you going to be open enough to sustain the business model profitably going forward?
Yeah, we have been asked this before, and there has been a question with basically idling the truck. So obviously we do have a huge upfront cost, and yes, that's our plan. We're planning to be open basically throughout the day except for that lunch hour, so from 10 o'clock through mid-afternoon. But I guess we're also open to to input there.
Hi, my name is Francisco Castro. I'm a freshman here at Colorado College, and my company is the Artisans of the Gambit. I'm going to talk to you about artisans and business, which are my life passions. Artisans in my country today face poverty, and that's caused by their handicrafts being sold as commodities, and there's a huge amount of talent that's being unused in my country. So I seek to give artisans in my country an opportunity to pull themselves out of poverty by providing them with a market where they can sell their products. And I seek to do this by creating a profitable business model backed by a brand that stands for for the highest quality luxury Ecuadorian handicrafts. Now, I have this passion because I'm an artisan myself. That's where I came from. And I'd like to put that knowledge, that deep knowledge about artisans and how they can solve their obstacles to sell their products in the world, and my passion for business. And I know this can be done because both my grandfather and my father used their artisanal skills to build profitable business models. And so I've partnered with the finest artisans and plantations in Ecuador to begin with 3 main products in my line. I'm going to begin with fine luxury embroidered handicrafts, world-known Panama hats which have been traded in Panama for years but are really Ecuadorian, and the world's best chocolate. And I wish to use the chocolate as an example to illustrate to you some of the challenges that our artisans and plantations face. So, only 12% of the entire cacao production in the world is of the finest aroma flavor variety. And of that 12%, 60%, the finest 60% is grown in Ecuador. I'm sure most of you didn't know that. But for hundreds of years, European chocolatiers have been using our cacao to produce the most expensive, the finest chocolate bars in the world. But I'm trying to take that secret out. And today, the best products, the best chocolate in the world is really Ecuadorian. So I'd like to talk about my business. And I'm not fair trade. I'm not here to give handouts and subsidies because I've seen that that does not help our artisans. I'm here to give artisans jobs and to create a market. And with that, I can train them, I can help them innovate and help them improve their quality because that's what artisans need. I'd like to talk about my competition. In the past few months, I've done quite extensive market analysis, market research, and the competition is huge. There's a lot of chocolate brands. There's traders that already source these products from Ecuador, but none of them have the deep knowledge of the people, of the artisans, and of the products. None of them care about making artisans businessmen and women for the world. And so I seek to put these two, this knowledge combined with my knowledge of the business and of the U.S. market to create a brand that will really represent the best products in the world. So I'd like to talk about my traction because although there's a lot of competition, the demand is huge. So far I've sold $5,000 of my products. I've delivered and sold every one of the products. And the demand is so huge, the price is right, the quality and the service is great, that many of the customers I've visited have asked me for exclusives. So there's your market. I have a lot of market. Right now I have more orders than I can deliver. And currently I'm preparing for future growth. Based on the orders and the reorders that my customers have promised and placed, I expect to sell about $30,000 for the next 3 years, for each year. And I plan to do this while I continue to do market research. And then after I graduate, I believe I'll be prepared and I'll have the infrastructure to begin distribution in the US. And as a business, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I expect to be a wholesaler. And I'd like to thank and mention the partners that helped me and will continue to help me in this product development. 4 Richards, very knowledgeable businesses here in the Colorado Springs to develop these products, as well as Sparrowhawk. And I'd like to talk about the investment. I asked from you $10,000, which is primarily going to go into getting enough inventory here to the U.S. Because currently the shipments I've been making have been very small, and my profits have been small because the fixed costs of shipping are very high. So if I can get over the 10,000 hump for an order, my fixed shipping costs are going to be reduced, and I'll be able to make enough profit. And the other destinations of my investment are going to be product development and expenses that I've already incurred, which have been a lot higher than I expected, because I've had to adapt to what my customers have wanted, not what I'd like to sell. And all of these are expenses I already have incurred. So, pardon me. And yeah, I'd like to thank Colorado College and everybody that has helped me so far.
Francisco, could you go back to your financial slide again just a minute? I'd like to see what. Okay. Where do you, if you build up this inventory, where do you intend to store it? Have you thought through that?
Yes, Steve Kazmarek actually has kindly offered his home to. They have to be temperature controlled. The chocolates have to be temperature controlled. So that's why the shipping costs are so high. The shipping has to be temperature controlled.
Hey, Francisco. It's Francisco?
Yeah, that's right.
That's a great presentation you did there. I really like the fact that there's a personal connection. I have a bunch of questions, but the first one is I'd like to know how we know that once you start doing well, if you start doing well, that the rights of and the sort of the quality of the people who are making these products for you are being monitored closely. You know, because I mean, I get it. Like, I get that you're from there, but I know, you know, firsthand experience that can evolve and a lot of that can change. You know, so it's hard just beyond your word to know that that's the case. Do you understand my question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that question. Right now, currently, even fair trade doesn't certify anything because a lot of bogus stuff is being done in the name of fair trade. So if you get ultimately to the question, it's really impossible to know really what effect that business is doing. Right now, currently, the plantations that I'm working with have GPS tracking to all the plantations that we buy cacao from. To track that we're not, you know, sourcing from farms that reach out labor or things like that. But it's truly my passion, and I think that no one else would have the intention to help them and help them improve, and hopefully, to be quite honest, become my competitors in the future. That's what I see. But I intend to show who the artisans are so that people can see that there's a difference being made. But what these artisans really need is to become businessmen. That's what they need to do. They need to trade at world-class levels and not through other people.
Okay, and really quickly, this is kind of non sequitur, but I like the chocolate. It's not the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. How are you guaranteeing that the product, like I like the story, you know, and I like your personal connection, but I don't really see yet the product as something that's like has enormous wow factor, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Well, I'm not making up that we produce 60% of the best cacao. I mean, all chocolatiers in the world know that. And my chocolate bars are made with 100% of that chocolate, where my competitors, the best competitors, the closest ones, only put about 40% of the best cacao. So it is the best in the world.
Listen, there's nobody who likes being put in his place more than me. So I mean, honestly, especially come back to Colorado College and have it done. That's great. But honestly, like you know, we're talking about my taste buds here. So it's like, yeah. But fair enough. Fair enough. But,
I'm actually gonna piggyback off of that. Not to, even if it is the best quality chocolate and you know that, how are you gonna communicate that to somebody who wouldn't know the difference and doesn't have that experience? How are you gonna create that brand and communicate that, especially in such a deep market in the United States?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I'm not gonna sell this at Walmart or Target. My target customers are small retail exclusive shops, much like Fort Richards. And they have the ability to tell a story to their customers. And even if they can't, this is a very select market. It's not for anyone, you know. This chocolate is very special, and to be able to tell a difference, just like with wine or with the best cheeses in the world, you need the people that know of it. This isn't the cheapest bar ever either. I can't compete with anything that they sell at Target or at Walmart. This is really a special type of product. It's a luxury product, really.
How big do you think that market is for this? Like, what in 5 years, you're a wholesaler. What's your top line revenue?
My revenue?
Yeah.
In 5 years, I believe I could surpass $200,000 or $300,000 after 5 years.
And how much of that would actually go to the local artisans?
I have not made that calculation, but this is a business, and my primary purpose is to give the artisans an excellent jobs.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben. I'm the chief and co-founder of Cake Hub.
I'm Paul. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cake Hub.
And we are here asking for $50,000 investment, which will contribute about 40% of our startup capital. And this is why you should invest in Cake Hub. In our target demographic in Kenya, there are about 7.5 million small and medium enterprises, which contribute to 80% of employment, and a middle-class person earns between $3,000 and $6,000 a year. But for most of these startups, they lack financial expertise, and therefore capital and operational cost is very high. Incubation programs are very expensive and almost impossible for them to find, and it's almost impossible for entrepreneurs to find investors to invest into these businesses. Cake Hub solves these three problems, and Cake Hub is for profit, but not profit maximizing online business accelerator that guides entrepreneurs to profitability and provides small and medium enterprises and startups all across Africa with a diagnostic toolkit and an investment portal. Our diagnostic toolkit is robust but simple to use, reduces perceived risk by almost 1%, and thus enabling managers to spend less time trying to grow the business and more time growing the actual business. Our online virtual accelerator reduces cost by 80% while offering 80% of the services a normal accelerator would offer. And our investment portal creates the first contact between the entrepreneur and the investors all across the African continent. So what makes us unique and well-posed to conquer our market? Running our business online is going to enable us to reduce our cost by 80%. Secondly, Paul here he went to United World College, and I'm a graduate of the African Leadership Academy, and we hope to bring the access of connections and networks of investors from Africa into our business. The third point is that our unique selling point and target businesses are all within the African continent, and which has a huge market for our products and services. And for our products and services such as the toolkit and the investment portal.
So there are many toolkits in the market. So what makes our toolkit very special? Well, it's very comprehensive and easy to use, and it's specially designed to support medium enterprises and young enterprises within the emerging markets of Africa. And it's work based on inputs such as the business plan, financial statement, financial goals, and it processes all this information and produces outputs such as the liquidity, the profitability, the market share, and market growth of every aspect of the business. So how are we going to distribute our products and services? Well, it's mainly going to be through online and also through sales agents who will be located in Kenya, and also through summer boot camp, which will also be located in Kenya. So how do we make money? Well, our diagnostic toolkit is going to be sold for $180, and we also ask for 8 to 12% equity from the businesses that work with our online accelerator. And our investments and investor tracking portal is going to go for $5 for a premium for a month. So here you can see our first year financial summary, but I would like to draw your attention to the profit margin, and you realize that the toolkit has a profit margin as high as 78%, but the investment portal and the online accelerator are making losses. But I also like to draw your attention to the percentage capacity in use, and those values are very small, which implies that there's a high probability for scalability in subsequent years. For the management team, Ben, he's from Kenya. He's a young and innovative entrepreneur, and he has access to a wide range of connections and network which will help market our product within Kenya. He's also from Kenya, which will help in marketing our products and services. For me, my expertise fall in website design and internet networking, so I'll be at the forefront in designing both the toolkits and their website. And we are both really passionate about African growth through the private sector. This is our advisors, and they bring in a lot of experience and knowledge, and we tap into their knowledge and experience to grow our business both in Kenya and all across Africa. And it is also crucial that we have someone who works with startups on the board of advisors, so that he can provide reality check on decisions made by the competent members. This is our strategic partners, and by aligning with them, we have positioned ourselves well in the market, and we are ready to expand and make the accelerator program accessible to both businesses in Kenya and all across Africa. And thank you for watching our presentation, and we're ready for any questions that you might have.
So, first of all, the space you're trying to hit is a space that a lot of people are trying to figure out because they view it as Africa as a hot place to go invest, and two, the concept of hitting small, medium enterprises sounds great. But my question is this, isn't this space already filled by the micro-lending banks like Grameen Bank and stuff like that? So how do you feel, first of all, A, how do you think that for potential investors, what's going to be, why would they put their money into these firms? And two, is there not already a high level of competition from the banks? And then third question that I have is, a lot of times when you start getting into these sort of economies, the issue isn't capital. The issue is that the regulations and everything else ultimately strangle the growth of these businesses. And so how do you kind of think about overcoming the structural issues in the third, addressing the issue of the competition of the first, and then just what do you think the expectations of an investor should be in this sort of space?
Yes, thank you for your question. Could we please have the presentation back? Yeah, to respond to your question, as you can see, there are partners are actually banks, and we also have microfinance and investment firms. And this shows you we are not trying to compete with them. And one of the first thing, we have talked to Equity Bank, and we have talked to investment firms like Growthin. And the way we are positioning ourselves is in a way that, first of all, we are going to provide our toolkit to their clients, like small and medium enterprise clients, so that they can manage their funds better. and thus helping banks and investment firms such as Grofin and finances at the same time track the finances of their the businesses they're investing into. So we are positioning ourselves as a complementary product for the services to reach their customers. And on the question on startups and on the question on competing with the investors and how we are going to convince them to invest into these businesses, we are mainly focusing on startups for our investment portal and also for our online business accelerator. And if you go to Kenya, you find that there's so much demand for these programs. And there are so many businesses out there looking for capital, looking for money. And we hope to satisfy this, to meet this gap where most of these starting businesses do not have the capital they need to start and scale up.
I've worked with microfinance in Mexico as well as in Africa, and one of the challenges that we saw with a lot of the small businesses was that they'd start strong, but the processes didn't have a fail-safe to check to make sure they were still strong. So do you have something in your platform that'll help you with that in the certification process?
I think the first thing is that we have a very strong selection criteria which we are going to use to identify businesses which are scalable, which have a very capable team which is ready to be trained, and which invest in technology, healthcare, financial services, which have a very quick growth pattern and low capital demand. And the other thing is, for most investment firms which are in Africa, like Grofin, one of the challenges they face is that they find a very profitable business, but that business, their finances are messed up. Like, they don't know how to handle the finances. And we are coming in and saying, here, we have a toolkit which can help you with some basic skills, keep your financials very well, and help you be more presentable to the banks and to microfinances, which makes it easier to get finance and also reduces the perceived risk from these lenders of your business. And talking to the Equity Bank and Grofin, they actually admitted that a product like that can help them reduce the perceived risk they have on the business they're investing into by almost 1%.
So first, I commend you guys on the elaborateness of this. Very impressive. One of the big things that is going through my head, though, is the internet penetration rates in Africa. So I believe Kenya is 28%. Did you guys incorporate that in your business model, and how does the internet issues and that underlying assumption, how does that affect your business? I think that was one of your main competitive advantages that you identified.
Well, I think if you've been following the news, like recently, like there's an internet revolution in all across Africa where like markets like Kenya and Ghana and South Africa, more and more people are getting onto the internet. So we intend to use this to our advantage. And it's also interests you to know that we are the first online accelerator all across Africa. So by providing our services, we'll be able, like with the internet trend, we'll be able to reach to a larger market, both in Kenya and all across Africa.
And sorry, just to add to a response to that, based on the research I did in Kenya, is that first of all, we have selected a client which is above the college level education. And you said, I agree, it's very low, it's about 28%. But if you go to the client above the college level and above, like college students and above, the internet usage is very high. And they have competence with computer skills, and the internet and smartphones is part of their lives, which is very similar all across, even here in the States.
Is the internet quality high enough to run your toolkit and the rest of your services?
I think the first thing is that we are going to have, the toolkit is going to be programmed into our website for the clients who subscribe to that, use it online. At the same time, we are going to have a mobile app which you can download and use the toolkit, like have it in your cell phone or have it in your computer. So we have factored that into the toolkit, and for the investment portal at the same time, most of them don't need high speed. For the investment portal and our online business accelerator do not need high speed internet. But at the same time, the countries you're focusing on, which is to start with Kenya, South Africa, and Ghana, they have a very comprehensive framework of installing a fiber and fast speed internet. So as our business grows, so does the internet platform grow in those countries, and we hope to bring those together to our success of our business.
You have a very nice business plan, a complete, very well done. And you talk about your estimated capital expenditures. How much are you looking for from this award, and what is the priority for its use?
It's a response to your question. First of all, we are really hoping to get the 50,000. But if you look at here, we are really excited and passionate about the toolkit. It's our highest profit making among our 3 products. So if you can get us started with the toolkit and with just with the 20,000 for us to start getting the toolkit together and out to our target clients as soon as possible, then the revenue from that we can easily use it to start our other targets, such as the investment portal and online accelerator. But at the same time, we're also looking for investment from several impact-oriented companies, such as the Soros Foundation. We are also in conversation with InfoDev, part of the World Bank, and we are hoping to tap to their cash base and help us launch this business. And we also, each of us, contributing 5,000 to the startup capital of the business.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. We'd like to introduce you to our product, Brain. I'm Trevor. I'm the technical guy on the team. And this is Jesse. He's the sales and marketing guy.
We have a pretty simple but radical idea, and we believe that epilepsy patients and people that suffer from seizures should live normal, fulfilling lives. But the problem is, epilepsy is actually a very debilitating disease.
I've had epilepsy for 12 years. I still don't have my driver's license, and I was forced to quit swimming, a sport that I love, due to seizures in the pool. Most epileptics also face social anxiety, since they don't know when they're going to have a seizure, what their peers will think, or how they will respond. Current epilepsy treatments are harsh and lack real-world data. In-hospital EEG monitoring is awkward, obtrusive, and overall, an awful experience. It is not uncommon to wait 6 months to a year for an overnight EEG like this one that I had about 10 years ago. Our product, Brain, will solve these problems. It features a non-obtrusive headset that transmits live brain data to users' mobile device to monitor, track, and ultimately predict seizures. There are approximately 67 million epilepsy patients worldwide, according to the Epilepsy Foundation, and about 5,700 US facilities. Both of these provide potential revenue streams that we will discuss shortly.
So the industry that we're in, some people call mHealth, which is mobile technology applied to healthcare. It's a really hot space. Some analysts believe that this is the future of the $2.9 trillion US healthcare industry. Everything from urine analysis apps, believe it or not, to iPhone cases that will track your pulse and text it to your doctor. So this is how Brain works. The user wears the headset and it transmits live brain data to the user's mobile device. The application not only logs the brain data, but relies on the user to input external events, such as stress, sleep, and seizures. We then analyze the patterns and send warning or predictions back to the user's device. So here's our application. Trevor's actually going to run up so you all can, he's going to put it in front of the camera so you can see it. This is the main home screen where you actually see the live brain data. This is the screen where you add external events such as stress, seizures, or sleep. And then this is where you can look at your past recordings, essentially, of your brain data. So would you all like to see this in action? Sure. Yeah. Okay, we're going to see if, he's going to hold it up to the webcam, so we'll see if we can get it to work. Okay, it's a little dark. So you can kind of see it. You can kind of see it jumping around there. I don't know if you can make it brighter, Trevor. You can kind of see the white line there. Yeah. So this is in real time. Trevor, why don't you blink for us a bunch so you can see it kind of go up and down. Now close your eyes and pretend like you're not presenting in front of 400 people. So we have a full proof of concept working. A full proof of concept working on the Android platform. It actually tracks 512 data points a second, and that's logged within the application. So there's 7 main revenue streams that we've identified, 2 of which I want to talk about because they represent the largest. One is for patients, and it's kind of like Life Alert. It's $6 a month, and if we're sending a high-level warning prediction to your phone or we're sensing you're having a seizure, we'll text your family for you or triangulate your location and call 911 for you. The other opportunity is in the B2B space to sell this platform to healthcare companies, a provider portal where a doctor could log in and see like the aggregate data of all of their epilepsy patients or drill in and kind of see the data for a specific patient. A few things we should mention. Nobody is doing this right now commercially. There's a group in Amsterdam that has a mobile EEG kind of thing, but it's not a product or service. We actually have a provisional patent already filed on the workflow, the product model itself. The FDA is currently not enforcing any level of regulation on mobile healthcare applications, so it is an open question but not an active concern. And we're pre-revenue, which is a startup's way of saying we haven't sold a darn thing yet. So a little bit about us. Trevor is the brains behind Brain. He's a computer science major. He's a sophomore here at Colorado College. I am a CC alum, economics and business, class of 08. My background is in technology and marketing specifically, and I work now for a marketing agency here in town called Magneti. And I've also listed, we have had tons of volunteers who have helped us get to this point, everything from shirts and logos and websites, and so I just want to give a quick shout out to those people. So where we are right now, again, proof of concept built, initial IP filed. We're raising $2.9 million in 2 tranches to achieve the next 2 phases of development. And the biggest thing that you'll see is phase 3 is we want to build a new unobtrusive headset, something that people could wear under a hat, something that somebody could wear all day long, and we could collect their brain data. So just some numbers on that $2.9 million. You can see our burn rates there. We're projecting cash flow positivity 11 months after launch, as well as kind of cash on hand to recover that 2.9 Series A investment within 23 months. So what we have going for us, we're in a hot space, solving a very personal, emotional problem. And from an investor's perspective, we have an opportunity to make a lot of money, but change a lot of lives while we do it. So what we're looking for, feedback and mentors. We've had a lot of amazing input so far from doctors and et cetera. We want supporters and fans, people that are willing to share this on Facebook, stuff like that. We need introductions in the healthcare space and introductions to investors. Like I mentioned, we're doing a Series A round of fundraising for $2.9 million. So with that, thank you for your time. And we'd love for you to go to thebrain.com and sign up for email updates. Thank you very much.
This was an amazing presentation.
Thanks, Van.
How do we fit in your very ambitious plans to move forward with the
I was told 2.9 was the pot today. Where's Steve? I've been lied to. No, we have a real need in the intellectual property protection area. That any winnings that we might be blessed to receive, pretty much every penny will go towards that. You know, one of our mentors said, "This is such a good idea. IP is my biggest concern."
Yeah, I noticed that you had one MD EEG specialist in your advisor group. You know, how else are you reaching out to the medical community?
Yeah, great question. And our EEG specialist is actually Steve's father-in-law, believe it or not. So we've had some good introductions. It's an open concern for us. We need more medical input. Short answer.
How did you guys connect initially, the two of you?
How did we
connect? Like, how did you? Yeah.
Well, Dan Johnson, economics professor at Colorado College, here today, founded Book Cheetah last spring. Hired Jesse to be the marketing guy for Book Cheetah. I had considered doing some programming work for Book Cheetah and was meeting with Jesse to work those details out, and ended up discussing other opportunities that we might be able to work on together.
Okay. And I missed this, and it might be a dumb question, but would you be wearing the headset at all times?
Ideally, this headset you wouldn't want to wear at all times.
No, yeah.
But we intend to develop a more specific one to various types of epilepsy and so on. That wouldn't be quite so obvious and intrusive.
And
to answer your question,
yeah.
The more data we can get, the better. I mean, that kind of, the algorithm grows itself, so the
yeah.
more people can learn.
And are there applications beyond epilepsy that you see for future development?
Yeah, there are potential applications in other neurological disorders, such as autism,
okay.
PTSD, perhaps migraines.
Great. Thank you. That's it for me.
So I know you're working off of limited medical knowledge, but how much does your solution replace or could be a perfect substitute for the in-hospital process of diagnostic?
We think that we will be able to replace the hospital EEG, that this will be a product that can measure brain waves to hospital standards at home, that it can send that data to your doctor, that they can analyze that they can see that they can track that in a real-world environment. The hospital bed, where you're sleep deprived, have strobe lights shown in your face, taking off your medicine, that's not real life.
Hi, I'm Fred. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Sarah, and we are City Roots. We aim to locally grow and sell fresh fish and produce year-round through the use of aquaponic technology.
Aquaponics is a self-sustained symbiotic growing of fish and produce in a closed-loop system.
It uses 10% of the water and increases land efficiency to help meet rising demand.
Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Frederick Linseth.
I'm Jeremy Harlem.
And I'm Sarah, and we are City Roots. We aim to locally grow and sell fresh fish and produce year-round.
Modern agriculture currently faces three major problems. First is that of land availability and quality, as you can see in the top animation. Second, population growth, and third, water scarcity. This graph shows that over the past decade, highlighted by the dark green bars, agricultural land has been capped at around 3.4 billion acres, while our population recently reached 7 billion and is expected to reach 8 billion in the next 10 years.
So our solution is aquaponics. Aquaponics is a symbiotic growing of plants and fish in a closed-loop system. So in the system, you have a tank with fish in it. You feed the fish poop. That wastewater is pumped from the tank into grow beds where bacteria break it down and convert it into nutrients. that are absorbed by the plant's roots, and therefore it eliminates the need for harmful fertilizers. The plants then purify the water, and it's recirculated into the fish tanks. Aquaponics is a great solution because it only uses 10% of the water needed in traditional farming. It increases land efficiency. It doesn't affect local species population, and the model has the ability to expand with a growing population.
And just to highlight the increased land efficiency, according to 2010 United States lettuce production statistics, aquaponics was 18 times more efficient per square foot of production space used than traditional agriculture.
So I'm a sophomore. I plan on majoring in molecular and cellular biology. I first gained interest in hydroponic agriculture my senior year of high school when I received a scientific fellowship in the study of hydroponics. I also have experience working a 6,000 square foot hydroponic lettuce house manned by only myself and 2 other employees.
I'm also a sophomore, and I'm a behavioral economics major. I was first exposed to some issues in the agricultural industry when I canvassed for Environment Rhode Island last summer on ending subsidies that were directly funding the production of high fructose corn syrup. And I also have some sales experience as a waiter and in cable sales, which helped me gain insight into some basic needs and wants of customers.
I'm a sophomore, and I plan to be an environmental science major. I first became interested in sustainable farming in high school when visiting an aquaponics and hydroponics farm in Panama. Since then, I have participated and helped develop sustainable farming projects throughout Panama. Additionally, I successfully constructed a micro-aquaponics system for my house, and therefore I have experience in building and operating an aquaponics system.
So to start off, we will market our fish and produce to local grocers, restaurants, and farmers markets. We will be able to grow around 43,000 heads of lettuce, as well as additional produce in a 3,200 square foot greenhouse annually. And we will also have around 300 mature tilapia available at any one time.
So our startup costs include costs to the greenhouse, costs to land, and costs to the interior materials of the system. For land, we'll be targeting plots as close to urban centers as possible to help bypass the high cost of a water tap required to bring water to an undeveloped plot of land, and that can run up to $40,000. Greenhouses typically range from $10,000 to $150,000, but $40,000 covers the appropriate greenhouse with the necessary ventilation system and size for our model, and $25,000 covers the interior materials like the fish tank, piping, and troughs, and all totaling $75,000 to $85,000 depending on the plot of land we acquire. Our main competition is large agribusiness, small urban farmers, and commercial fishers and aquaculture productions. We're competitive with all three, but what separates us is we pay for the infrastructure, but our production is much cheaper and efficient in comparison, especially to large agribusiness. And we're competitive with urban farmers and fishers because we can provide both products in the same place. And we'll be capturing our customers through the high quality of our product and reliability of production.
So currently we are growing a small amount of basil, lettuce, and jalapenos on top of my bed. Next year we hope to expand into a greenhouse. We're also prepared to expand into a small to moderate operation in one of our apartments. With this increased size, we will better market ourselves to local grocers, restaurants, farmers markets. And in the future, we really hope to expand into a large vertical grow in the heart of urban centers to further increase our land efficiency and make us more desirable to customers. Thank you.
What's the markup on the cost of the produce? Is there one, or is it, are you selling it at competitive prices?
Well, we've based all of our numbers off of an aquaponic farm up in Denver, and they were really nice, and they gave us some financial information. And what they found is that to grow and bring to market any head of lettuce, it costs about $1.50, and you can sell it for up to $2.50 to places like Whole Foods.
So is that your intended market, is higher end grocery stores in addition to farmers markets and stuff?
We're looking to sell not only to food services like Bon Appetit here at CC,
but also grocers like Whole Foods, because they'll give us that market that really appreciates the fresh quality and just the high quality of our product.
The distribution would be the same for the fish as well?
We're hoping to just sell both products to whoever wants it, and with our growing population, we have guaranteed customers for our product.
Just a quick question. So off the setup that you just named, the capital use, what do you think the revenues you can generate off of that operation?
Well, selling each head of lettuce from anywhere from $175 to $250, so anywhere from 90,000, probably close to 100,000 in revenue.
What has stopped this from happening before?
It's not necessarily that it hasn't happened before, but it's that the demand is always growing, and so no matter what, with the agriculture industry, you will have customers. But it's also that we want to do it in a way that separates us from places like the Grow House. Sorry. Yeah.
Can I ask one other question? Are you going to come under any criticism from environmentalists that you're not factoring the cost in the economic or the environmental cost of figuring out the fish feed, or is that what do the fish actually eat?
Well, that is our only input, and so what we're going for is to feed the fish the best food that we can to make our lettuce and other produce the best it can be, and also we're really going for a sustainable and organic model. So since we're selling the fish, that's another product that we're concerned with the quality, and so we will be feeding them the best we can. And we also, compared to other large aquaculture businesses, they raise their fish in a very artificial manner where they mate the fish, isolate the eggs, fertilize them, put them into separate tanks depending on what stage of life they're at. But what we do is inside of our fish tank, we provide a spot for the fish to mate. And so we are currently producing new tilapia, bass or trout in a natural way.
Okay, so that completes the 5 teams, but I have to admit, if I grew, when I was here, green plants with a grow light above my bed, I don't think I would have lasted very long. So a few things have changed. Right, Jill? Basil, yes. Actually, I tried their basil. It's very, very good. Well, first, I guess right before we take an intermission break here, which will be about 15 minutes, I want to thank all the teams. I know some of you are very disappointed you didn't get called today. And I appreciate all the time and effort that you've put into this. Without all of you, this never would have been possible. It was your energy and your passion for your ideas. If it were truly up to me, I would have invested in all of them. I may be poor, but it would have been fun going down that path with all of you, because that energy is truly, truly infectious. So I think all the teams that didn't make it deserve a round of applause. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take about 15 minutes. Please, there's lots of food. Enjoy that. The judges are going to take a break, and we're going to debate over what the final awards look like. Thank you. This is the appropriate time to thank you, to say the thank yous for all of the people that have made this process and production possible. There's a long, long list of people on the back. I really encourage all of you to read that. There are some people here that it just would have been impossible to do this without, Obviously, Jill and Mike, thank you very much for making this all happen. In addition, I have to thank Monica Mueller. Is Monica here? I don't know if she's here. There she is. Monica did all of the posters, the design work, has really been my right-hand person throughout the entire event, and it's just been fantastic. So thank you, Monica. We also have to thank Gretchen Wardell in the Career Center, Karen Klein, the assistant to Mike, who's unbelievable support, and really in the last couple of weeks, they're like, anything you need. It's been wonderful, so thank you to both of them. There's so many other people that I need to thank that, quite honestly, I think this is when the podium goes down and the music starts and all that other stuff. But we had so many people speak at the workshops. We had just a lot of technical support tonight. Obviously, again, doing some of the videos, and obviously the AV department. And again, thank you to all the teams. If I've missed anybody, I sincerely apologize. I'm going to thank the judges. I have a small token for each one of you. Okay. Okay, I'm sure there's an easier way of doing that. But I think the best thing to do now is have the judges come up and give their thoughts about their decision process and their awards. The judges again.
Okay, guys, so we had 15 minutes to do this. We came to a consensus pretty quickly. We just want to say congrats to everybody involved. We are thoroughly impressed and honored to be a part of it. We are going to do 3 teams, first place, second place, third place. We'll announce third place first. And with that, we would like to give $2,000 to City Roots. Guys, come on up and accept your check. There's a big giant check. And you guys can just hang out up here with us, I think, while all the teams are announced. Congratulations to City Roots. Okay, second place, to our good friend Francisco, we're going to give you the full $10,000. Artisan of the Andes, well done, man. It still smells like permanent marker. Okay, and in first place, I'm not sure if this is going to be a surprise, but it wasn't for us. You guys, your presentation was really fantastic. We were floored by it, and we're happy to give you $38,000 to the guys at Brain. Well done, guys. Yeah. Now we get out of the way. You guys can smile, look happy.
And congratulations to the other 2 teams who also did a marvelous job. This was not, a slam dunk. This was a tough decision. So congratulations all.
Okay, well, we're going to take some pictures after this, but that concludes tonight's, I guess it's almost tonight's event. And thank you all for coming. Thank all the teams. Get really excited because next year we're going to make it bigger and better. Yeah. So thanks to everybody.
Yes, Steve!